All right, so I'm just
David, we have a big echo.
I know.
Okay,
I know. I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't yelling at you. I was just trying to elevate to your attention. That's all. We are live.
We are live. It's a test kitchen, so leave computer audio. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm just wanting to get set up so that we can show off the new screen share thing once we get ready.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Oh,
14.
cool. What did I just do?
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm still low.
Okay. Share screen. There we go. Okay.
One minute.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna. I do have the share up. I'm just gonna let you start us off and I'll be back in a few.
Roger that.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Pretty close.
Hey, Ray.
42. Hi. Lively
Okay, we're
bunch.
straight up. It's time to start the Zoom test kitchen. We do this every Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and we hope you'll join us live or on YouTube. And if you ask some questions in the YouTube channel, we'll do what we can to get them over here to the panel. Let's take a look who the panel is today. So far, coming from right around the corner in South Africa is Hasmuth. Greetings. Hasmuth had your big medical conference this week. Did it go well? Thumbs up?
Yeah, it started today,
All right. Well, we wish
and
you
I'm
luck.
very keen. I'm very keen to share the experience, and hopefully, I have a question for everybody.
Well, let's do that. We'll do a quick round the horn and then come right back to you, Ray Harwood. Greetings.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
It looks good here. Those of us that are showing our face.
Yeah.
David's occupied. He'll join us in a few minutes. And there's Robert from Poland. Hello, Robert.
Hi, everyone. It's my birthday today.
Robert, happy birthday. Guess what? You get balloons for your birthday. And Hasmith even sent fireworks all the way over from South Africa.
Happy birthday, Robert.
And
Thank you.
Gerald, thank
Thanks,
you.
Gerald.
And we got Frank here. Frank, greetings. What's going on with you today?
Hey, everyone. Nice to see you. Had COVID all week, so just recovering. But happy to be here. Thanks.
Well, you look good. And Robert's here a couple of times. And Gerald, good to see you. I'm sure you're in your comfy chair enjoying the Zoom test kitchen today.
I sure am.
Good. Well, we'll see what we can learn from it. So let's start right off with Hasmuth and what your experience was getting started for this big event of yours.
Yeah, so I was singing the praises of the scheduler in Zoom last week, and I terrorized the attendees to schedule their seats by booking, and they were mostly unhappy, but they succumbed to the pressure. And when I log in with the Zoom client, as I said last week, you could see the list of everybody that had booked the seats. And then it sits under something called not joined. So you know exactly who's planned to join. But I was using ZoomISO in my meeting. And ZoomISO in participants does not display that. It's only in the Zoom client. not in ZoomISO. So that was a bit disappointing. So I thought I'd share that with the folks.
I even got an invitation, but it was at 12:30 this morning myself, so I didn't attend. That's it's interesting. I don't think we could have anticipated that.
Yes. No, I didn't anticipate it. So I was trying to figure out, can one join Zoom? Can one join a event through the standard Zoom client and run ZoomISO on the same machine? The reason why I asked that, only the host will see that preloaded bookings, not anyone else that I make co-host, for example.
Asmuk, I just wanted to make sure I've understood your question, your situation properly. In ZoomISO, you don't get a list of the attendees that haven't joined, but you do get the attendees that have joined.
No. In ZoomISO, you get nothing. So if you the challenge always with ZoomISO has been to start a meeting. There's no option to start a meeting. You have to join a meeting through the ID or a link that you paste in. Unlike Zoom client, where your schedule meeting. So in ZoomISO, there's no schedule option. You cannot see all the meetings you've scheduled. So you cannot start a meeting from ZoomISO. But even though I started the meeting in ZoomISO by inserting the meeting link, it joins the meeting and it knows it's me and I'm the host. But in the panel view, the preloaded bookings don't appear. And so what I did at the end of the day, I exited the ZoomISO and I launched the vanilla Zoom client. And there it was all. And strangely enough, all those that have booked the seats even appear in my calendar. So if I go into the calendar, I can see everybody that has responded to the booking the seat. Yeah. So I was hoping to overcome this problem or challenge by starting the meeting with the vanilla Zoom client. But I need ZoomISO as well on the same machine because that's the host machine.
Anybody have any suggestions?
There are a couple of hands up.
Ray Harwood's got his hand up.
Yeah, I guess I'd say I don't have the same experience with ZoomOSC and ZoomISO that you guys have, but I have used it off and on in the last year or so. And I guess I'd have to say that ZoomOSC and ZoomISO, to me, my own personal opinion, is they're not designed to be the host of a meeting. You can host with them, but they're not really designed to do that. And one of the reasons is that they use the SDK that is produced by Zoom, and they basically have code that fits into that backend SDK. And so as the rest of us are marching out to 5.14 and 5.15 and now 5.17, the SDK isn't keeping up with that. And so when they produce a new version, which is maybe every year or so, they probably catch up with that. But I would always take the approach of starting the meeting in a regular Zoom client and then attaching either ZoomOSC or ZoomISO, even from another machine. I mean, I've got just a little B-Link over here that I can do things with, and sometimes I'll start a meeting from over there and run ZoomOSC here because I'm going to be kind of ZoomOSC centric. But a lot of times it's the other way around. I just need ZoomOSC to kind of be doing some stuff.
David?
The answer is yes, and I'm doing it right now. So I'm in this meeting on three different accounts, three different clients on two computers. So on my main one that's called David Paskin, That's just vanilla Zoom on one computer. I have two other accounts that are on here, Tortec ZISO and TTG OSC. TTG OSC is the OSC client, and Tortec ZISO is actually not an ISO client, it's the vanilla client. Those two are on the same machine. So I'm running, and in fact, they're both logged into the same account for what it's worth. So I've got the vanilla client and the OSC client both running on the same device, both logged into the same meeting on the same account for what it's worth.
Robert?
Yeah, but I guess the question, David, was did you start the meeting on the Zoom ISO client?
No, I never do. Like Ray said, I always start it in my vanilla client, and then I join and co-host my OSC or ISO client.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I do it. I don't even co-host. I just ask for recording permissions to keep those completely separate.
Asric, this give you any help?
Yeah, a great deal, because I think the common theme here is launch or start your meeting in the vanilla Zoom client. And then you can get the Zoom ISO client, because that's also a client, to join the meeting. Now, when you do that with the Zoom ISO client, it sometimes says, do you want to grab the host? So one would probably decline that offer, I guess. So I don't know if you can be host on both sides.
I actually think, oh no, sorry. So again, I'm not joining the same machine that the host client is on. I'm joining and a different account. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So one of the options I had was to launch the Zoom vanilla client on another machine and it be the host. And then the Zoom ISO is launched on the production machine, because I need the Zoom ISO. And I guess the Zoom ISO could be the co-host. But does it still need permissions to enable the engine?
Not if you're the co-host, but
Either or.
but I don't know that workflow, because I always keep my Zoom ISO machine as a completely separate machine, and it's just been given its requests for permission to either record or stream. I prefer recording, and it just works there as a separate entity, not being involved in anything else except the ISO function.
So sorry, Ray, if it's okay, if I can have a conversation, or do I need to put up my hand?
You can jump in anytime, Asric.
So the Zoom ISO, wherever it's running, how does it fit in your workflow? What's the functionality? What sort of the outcome you're looking for?
Okay, I'm using the Zoom ISO for two things. One is I record all of the ISO streams. I have a recorder on the Mac Mini, and it's running NDI. So the NDI loops out of Zoom ISO and straight back into the recorder, so it doesn't load the network in any way. And the second thing I have is I always do a backup of the active speaker via NDI onto a separate machine.
Gotcha.
And that usually, depending on what I'm doing, I would stream that to Vimeo, and from Vimeo I can restream to multiple destinations.
My workflow has components of Mix Effects, Zoom ISO, companion with the Stream Deck. So where Zoom ISO fits in is a attendee asking a question. I isolate their video. When I isolate the video, I bring them up in a tour into Mix Effects. because that isolation is one of my ATEM inputs. So I use the mix effect camera input to bring that person into the two-up, the super source. And that's why I need it on. So I need to run mix effects and ZoomISO on the same machine. I don't necessarily have to run Zoom the client on the same machine. The other thing that I do is Jonas helped me out he wrote a little trigger and buttons for me in Stream Deck in Companion. So not only do I pull the ISO video out, it also pulls the name, the Zoom name, into that set of buttons or triggers. And then I use John's H2R graphics to bring their name in there. So what happens is that when a talent sees a two-up with the attendee asking the question, I hit one button, which Jeff previously had this button that did a lot of things like bringing the person on stage. So when I bring the person on stage, it brings the ISO, it brings in the name, it triggers H2R graphics and puts the name on there so that the talent says, oh, hi, Joseph, what question do you have for me? So that's really how I run it.
That is very streamlined. That is very nice.
Any other observations? Hasmith, you've mastered it. And I think we saw.
No. I'm constantly mucking around and learning, but I do have a related question. So if you buried the subject, I'll be grateful because I need to get to bed because I have to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Well, we know it's late in the evening for you. What's your next question? Throw it up. Let's see what we do.
Stream Deck. So I want to use two Stream Decks connected to my Mac. Because I got to keep switching the pages. And fortunately or unfortunately, I use the Stream Deck software as my front page. And then I have a link that goes to the next set of companion pages. So I have all the companion buttons there. So I brought in a second Stream Deck. And what I did is from the first Stream Deck, I exported the profile. And then in Stream Deck, I chose the second Stream Deck. And when you click on the exported profile, it asks you, do you want to import this profile? So I imported that profile into the second Stream Deck. The only problem was they kept on mirroring each other. So whatever I press on the first one or the second one, they just keep mirroring. Now, I did this in June, and I couldn't figure out. So I suspect what I have to do, and I may be answering my own question. A, get rid of the Stream Deck software and just use Companion on that Stream Deck. Export the Companion profile completely. And then in the second Stream Deck, import that Companion. And maybe you won't have this mirroring. I don't know, David, you the Fundi on Stream Decks, maybe you have a comment.
Yeah, I'm so yeah. I don't think I know. Goodness. Edit profiles. Let me. I don't think this is what's going on, but let me throw this out there because this became a problem for me a number of times. If you've set up your, so I also use the native Stream Deck software for a couple of my Stream Decks. So I've got three that are connected to the regular software. So on any of these, if I set the application, then if that application is open, it'll automatically change my buttons, right? And I found the same thing with make this my default profile. If that's checked, then it, after like 30 seconds, it automatically just reverts to that. And
Right,
I'm just dumb enough that I just want, if I press a button, to know that it's going to do what it's supposed. I don't want any automation here. So I never use the application settings, and I never use the default. It doesn't sound like that's exactly what's going on for you, but
No, I don't think so.
but there is a, you know how in Companion you have to check.
Yes, in connections, you have to set that when you're using the Elgato.
No, I was thinking about using, if you're using two Stream Decks, you have to like tell it not to mirror them. There's some settings somewhere.
Okay.
I just have no idea where.
Okay. I put a question on Discord, so I was hoping that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't.
It's not a train smash. It's just
annoyance.
Annoying and very arthritic.
Yeah.
Well, I feel so inferior because I've only got one Stream Deck, so I can't contribute to the solution.
Come on.
You always need more Stream Decks.
Yeah. Well, I have a little 6-button over here connected to my friend Ivy, but I don't have it on this system. Well, Hasmik, maybe by the time you wake up in the morning, Discord will have the answer.
Thank
or
you,
can
sir.
stay awake all night waiting for it, but I doubt that is
Not,
what you're going to do.
not a chance. Not a chance.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
thanks for
folks.
loaning us the meters. We appreciate it.
No problem. No problem at all.
David, it's your meeting. Welcome
No,
back.
it's most definitely not, but we have updates.
Let's do 'em.
Updates. Let's do it. So 5 point something. What are we on now? I have no idea. 5.17, is that what it is? 5.17.5, at least on my Mac, is the latest. What do you got on a PC? Anyone got something on the PC? I don't know what number it is over there. I can't hear you, Ray.
Yeah, I'm looking for mine. It's
You need a Stream Deck button.
It's the same.
Oh, it is? Okay. 5.17.5. So there are a few different changes in here, one of which I actually can't see. Irony of ironies, if you pay them money, you don't get to see the new menu organization thing, I don't think. They rolled it out to free customers first, they said, and the rest of us don't get that goodness yet. But we did get the screen sharing thing. The new screen sharing. So if I pop this over here, so when you click on screen sharing, you get this traditional menu here that you've got. And if you don't see this, know that at the bottom there is an option that says layouts and options. And if you click that, it will actually toggle this on or off. I'm sorry I can't make this bigger, but Zoom does not let me make it bigger. So in any case, I've got a keynote open here. So I'm going to choose that. And now you can see that I've got 4 options. And incidentally, these icons are not clear to me, at least at all. So this first one is just this is the traditional, what screen share has always looked like. The second one keys you over the screen share. So again, I'm sorry you can't see this well, but there I am keyed over the screen share. The third one keys you out, but doesn't put the screen share behind you, doesn't put what you're sharing behind you, puts it up in the corner here. And you can then put a color or a something behind you if you want. I don't see anywhere where you can customize these or upload your own.
Not right now.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
I have no doubt that that's coming. Just like we were able to upload. Sorry, I've got a bug. Just like we were able to upload for our own virtual backgrounds. I'm sure that's coming. And then, so that's the third option, is basically keying you out over a background and then putting this up in the corner here. And then the fourth option is what looks like side by side. But the key about this one that makes it different than the rest is that it's not doing any keying on you. So what's really interesting about this is not what I just showed you, though. I think what's really interesting about this is that all of these are adjustable. So you get little corners and crosshairs on all of these that allows you to not zoom in, sorry, but embiggen yourself, make yourself smaller. And this works on all of them. So on this one, I can make myself bigger. I could move myself if I want. Let me try and grab myself. There we go. I can do the same with the screen share. So, if I wanted this big over here and me, it's hard to grab me when maybe I have to click outside. Let's try that. There we go. And I could go like this. You are stuck with the ratio of your camera. So for example, you can see that I've got a bunch of space on this side and this side. I can't crop that out yet, and I can't move beyond the bounds of that. So if I want to get myself closer to the corner, I just have to make myself a little smaller. And the same thing is true over here, right? So I can, no, it's not. Sorry, I cannot.
Yes, you can.
Oh, yes, I can. It's just very hard to, oh, wait a second. Oh, interesting. I'm not sure if I'm actually, that's not cropping. That's just changing the size. Okay, so yes, over here you can do this also. Incidentally, I just discovered this, and this was actually my biggest gripe with this, was, can you all still see this?
Yeah, I've spotlighted you.
No, but I think
we see you, but we don't see your screen share.
Yeah, no, you spotlighted the wrong screen share.
Sorry.
So, no, it's okay. So let me actually go back, and you're going to spotlight. Hold on, I have to find myself. That's what you want to spotlight. Okay.
Got it.
So this was my biggest gripe with this whole thing, is that I didn't know that you could do that. And I like, it's so tiny up here that I couldn't see what I was doing at all. But if you just click on the two arrows, this is much nicer now. And now I can really kind of get this exactly how I want it. I don't see any guides, which would be really nice, so I know that this is centered top to bottom. Let's go over to this one. I'll make this a little bigger. So there's this. The key isn't awful. I mean, I hate being keyed out. I know it's the same. No, it's the same. You can see like right over here, you can see what's going on. Drives me berserk. Not blaming Zoom. I have nothing set up behind me.
Probably look better with a green screen or any solid pattern.
Oh no,
background.
absolutely. Again, not blaming Zoom. I've got nothing proper set up behind me. So let's go into this one. So again, this is with the slide or whatever you're presenting behind you, and then I can come in here and I can make myself bigger or smaller. So in any case, I mean, kind of interesting, right? Ironically, I had a thing that I was doing yesterday during the day. I had an event I was doing, and they wanted to screen share, but they didn't want to have to worry about it. So they sent me what they wanted to screen share, and then I was going to put it up next to them. And I was almost excited about using this until I realized that if I'm screen sharing, I can't have their image I can't use their image in this new toy that Zoom has put out, right? This only works for the person, whoever is screen sharing, to have their own video up there.
The professional presenters will like this.
Yes, agreed.
Right.
By the way, for what it's worth, because I was just sharing that, the Production Studio, it looks like, is now available to all webinar customers, which is really exciting. Like, I mean, I'm not a webinar guy, so I'm waiting for it to come to meetings, but really exciting. So if you really need, you know, that kind of production, then that's where you go. But I don't know, what do y'all think? This is
David, a question for you. Can you move your image around after you actually start the screen share?
oh, that's really
Like if you've
interesting.
got,
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
know, your head's covering text on one thing, can you just drag yourself to the other side? That's what I like about Zoom Clips, is that you can actually move your image around as necessary when you're doing a Zoom clip, and that would be great if you
All
could
right.
do it here.
So I am now screen sharing, but we need to, I guess, now change. Let me see. Let me just think for a second. Who I need to. We want to. Wait.
Oh,
It,
feedback.
it
Feedback.
unmuted me. Sorry.
I didn't do that.
No, that was me. That was me. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm not sure what you all are seeing. Can you see the screen share now?
Yes.
Just you.
You can see me over the screen share.
Yes.
You over the screen, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so now the question is, can I move myself? And I don't see anywhere to do that.
So I was experimenting a little bit with it this morning, David, and what I found kind of by accident is that if you do a new share, you can pull up new share, move
Right.
yourself, and then do you know, that. But if your clients are watching you over a 5.16 connection, they don't see the new layout with new share. You actually have to stop the share and start a new share as opposed to using the new share button. So eventually that'll all catch up.
That's interesting. Yeah, so I'm not sure that I can really show how this is, but this is, well, let me try. Give me a moment here, and I'm going to do this. Where did I go? I've lost myself. David Full. Okay. So now this is, right. So I'm in a screen share now, and don't worry that you can't see it. So this is this is one of the reasons I can't stand doing screen share, is that everything about Zoom changes. Like everything just moves. Like I don't know. In any case, so if I go to new share, now I can grab myself. I can make it bigger so we can see. I can grab myself. I can grab myself. I can put myself over on this side. I can make this a little smaller if I wanted to.
David, I'll point out, I guess, is that I'm also watching the YouTube, and the YouTube sees the normal screen share and your composed video with you over the thing in the upper right-hand corner.
So
Really?
it's much more.
Yes.
Yeah, we're seeing much more than what you're trying to get across is a tiny piece of the.
I'm
top
sorry.
of the-
It's the usual overlay like you would be doing when you're doing a regular screen share, with the screen share and then your image in the upper corner. So that tells us really that Zoom is using your camera image as the feed to the screen share.
Yeah. So I moved let me just finish. I'll finish this. So I moved myself to the other side. I click share now. And now I haven't moved. Why didn't I move?
I've seen you move. You moved on my screen. Yes, you moved from the right side to the left side.
But now I want to go to the other side. Oh yeah, I did. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So yes. So let me now bring that back full. No, do not unmute me. So in any case, that's let me stop the share. That is that's the new screen share.
Sorry, David. I know Frank has his hand up, but are you on your Osbot camera here with the auto tracking? Because you keep moving.
Yeah,
zooming
it's
in.
breathing.
Okay.
It's breathing.
Okay.
So this is my problem is, so I turned that off, but my problem is I talk with my hands, and so it's constantly turning on and off. That's actually not the OBSBot. That's the what's the other one that we used to love before before OBSBot came out? What not Cam. I can't remember the name now. In any case, it's
Streamlink,
no.
I have it.
Hold
I've got
on.
it over here.
What's it
tiny 4K.
Instacam.
No,
Insta
not-
360.
The Insta360 link.
Right.
We all got little pieces. So yeah, that's the Insta360 link over there. And yeah, because I talk with my hands, it keeps turning the auto tracking on. Apologies for that.
Sorry, Frank had his hand up and I sort of bumped in. So sorry, Frank.
That's all right. I just wanted to point one other thing out before we leave this topic. These screen shares that you're doing are not recorded the way that you're showing them in the live meeting. Same situation as the live stream, where it's the traditional screen share that we're all accustomed to. The recordings will also be the traditional layout that you expect from 5.16. This is not recorded the way it's presented in the live meeting.
Is that something that you expect to change, or?
I really hope so.
Frank and I had quite the conversation in the Zoom community forum or team chat. And it sounds like that they're making that change, or at least they're considering it. But some of the feedback we got was, we don't know when, and we don't know exactly what it'll look like.
I think they're going to have to fix it. It's going to anger a lot of people. If you do all these screen shares and then you go and review your recording later and they're not there, you're going to say, what the H or something, right? Like, you're not going to be happy about it. So I think once people figure out this tool and then it doesn't show up in their recordings, there's going to be a lot of outrage.
It feels it sounds like that it's more work for Zoom, because now they're creating two different experiences, right? Now they're creating one for in-meeting and one for streaming and recording.
Yeah.
So with Zoom Clips, which is, I imagine, the same engine technology that's powering this, it's recorded the way the layout shows, right? So I would assume this is just, you may have to wait a few releases till they release it. That's my intuition. I don't have any inside knowledge of that.
Infant release.
They have something cool and they wanted to get it out. I just think a lot of people will be angry when their recordings don't reflect what they saw in the meeting.
Sorry, Frank, you're referring to the cloud recordings or the local recordings as well?
I don't think any recording... it's a good thing to test. I never thought about local recording, but I know the cloud recording doesn't give you the views you demonstrate in the meeting, and I'm wondering if the local recording would show it or not. But my suspicion, the way, like Ray said, when we asked some of the people from Zoom, it sounded like it wasn't supported at all. But now I'd have to test it. I don't know.
What
I
we saw,
miss?
what we just saw on YouTube was useless for that demonstration. And that's the case, right?
Right. And I put what was probably too long of a thing in the team chat that basically said, look, most of our expectation is that whatever the attendees see, we want that to be recorded somewhere, and Production Studio is doing that. And when I was on the beta and there was no recording of that, I kind of went, hey, this has got to be fixed. Yeah, we're working on it. When it came out, it was done. So my guess is the same sort of things happening here. Like Frank said, it's Zoom's approach to, put it together, throw it out there, see what happens. And if people hate it, they'll get rid of it. If people love it, but there's some issues, they'll fix it in subsequent releases.
It's kind of like Ford coming out with the new F-150 electric car with only 3 wheels. You'll get the other wheel. Now, do you want that extra wheel in the front or in the back?
Right.
You know what I don't understand? Sorry, I'm changing the subject. I mean, it's not changing the subject, but it's a different piece of this. Is I guess I don't understand some of the choices they made in the UI, I guess. So I mean, so for example, my image is always going to be 16 by 9 because that's what I'm sending, right? This goes back to how I said you can't crop, but I can grab it, like I can move it, I can change the aspect ratio of the box, but the aspect ratio of the image doesn't change. So this doesn't make any sense to me. Like I guess I would rather it be fixed. If I can't crop, I guess I'd rather it be fixed and just let me make it bigger or smaller. I don't quite understand that design choice.
My guess is that's either an oversight or we're not really considering sort of the separate use case where maybe you have the ability to feed a different aspect ratio from whatever device you have, and then it would just fill in as best it could without cropping anything.
Or
Right.
there's more to come and we don't know the whole story yet.
Yeah. And then just one other little, this is just me complaining, but again, these icons, they really don't tell, like these two, all this looks like is that the screen share is a little higher on this one than, like, it's not clear at all that this one doesn't key you out. And I'm not sure that there's a good way for the, maybe I couldn't come up with a better icon, but it's just not at all clear that what these are.
People have been, I see a lot of requests about side-by-side. I think this is going to make side-by-side easier once people understand what the icons mean. I think the UI could be a little better. Maybe if you hovered over each icon, a screen pop-out would say what it is or something, or give you an explanation. But it's early days. Maybe that'll come later.
Yeah. Side-by-side, like this? Is this kind of what you're thinking of?
The very last icon in the four selections.
Yeah, that's what this is. That's what I'm doing now.
So side by side is something people ask for quite often.
What's interesting though is that we already have this. I mean, the traditional share.
Most people don't know how to work the site. Most people don't know how to do it though.
Yeah, if you're Spotlight,
well,
then
the difference. The difference there, David, is that if you do this, you're forcing this particular view on someone.
Right.
And the side-by-side
Right.
gives the user the ability to swap back and forth and to do some other things.
Yeah, really, really good point. Absolutely. Robert, jump on in.
I wanted to point out one other thing is that the little confidence monitor piece that falls out of the black and green square or the black and green menu doesn't really reflect what you're actually putting out either. And I want to know, as I change and move things around, am I covering? You can't see that confidence monitor piece.
Well, actually, wait a second. So mine does. I don't know if you all can still see this because I'm screen sharing, I know, but mine does. Mine shows the actual the screen share the way it's, but I actually remember it like you do. I wonder if this is a change of some sort because I remember it not reflecting that properly.
Yeah.
This one does look like it is showing the right thing.
On YouTube, we're just seeing you in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Of the big white square.
YouTube, you got to come join us in the kitchen, my friends. I don't know what to tell you. So here's another thing, just within the same meeting. So I made changes to the way this looks, and those are persistent, those stick. So if I went out of the screen share completely, I started a new one. The way I've created this, it'll be interesting to see if, maybe I'll actually do this. Maybe I'll leave this meeting and come back in and see if this sticks.
So I have a question or a theory to present. I have a feeling, an intuition, I don't know this for a fact. When they are able to record the layouts that you're selecting for screen share, I have a feeling maybe they'll also show up in YouTube and streaming. Maybe they're related, maybe they're not, but I'm hoping that everything will be the way people in the live meeting would see it. They would see it in other places, whether it's the stream or the recording.
I would think so. Mike, what did you share? Oh, just a picture? Oh, it's a picture of me. That's beautiful, Mike.
Yeah, that was just a quick picture of me showing what people are seeing on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, that's what people are seeing on YouTube. Yeah. No, that's, oh, but wait, they're not seeing, they can't see even the work that I'm doing? Wait a second. They can't even see what we're playing. Oh no, they can. They can see what we're playing around with in
Yeah,
in the screen share.
when we had you in the upper corner and you were doing the
That's when I was actually
special
screen
view,
sharing.
it was different.
Yeah, that's when I was actually screen sharing. Now I'm not. I'm just showing the screen.
You're using magic.
I'm using magic. Yeah. Oh, wait, now it changed. Oh, wow. Wait, that's interesting. I didn't leave the meeting. I closed out of this, and now this
Yeah.
reverted. Huh. Was this the one? I don't even remember what I did.
There's not too much context saving, I think.
I think
even
it
during a
resets
meeting.
when you stop the share, which some people will hate and some people will love. When I've been
Yeah.
playing with it, it resets it, and that's one way to reset it quickly. But if you expect it to persist, every time you screen share and you have to drag things back to where you wanted them, again, that might be annoying for some people.
I'm sure at some point we'll
One
be
little
able
reset
to
button.
create.
Yeah, would be nice.
Yeah, a little dialog box in there that says reset and maybe persistence. If they could have both, that would be fantastic.
Or the ability to create our own layouts and kind of save them. Like we would save like we create an avatar and we can save it.
Well, maybe in Zoom 16, we'll
Right.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's I hate screen share so much. I so desperately want to get excited about this, but I just in my workflow, it's just not something.
But you're the one who always says we're not normal. Try and imagine doing this as a
absolutely.
person who hasn't learned all the things and doesn't have all the equipment and software you have. Just a vanilla Zoom client. This is pretty big. I think it's pretty a good thing, and I think if they refine it and fix those things we've talked about, I think a lot of people are going to like this a lot.
Yeah. Robert, jump on in.
I wanted to change topic. That's what I was sitting here so
It's
patiently.
okay.
I don't know if we've changed topic.
We can
Yeah.
change topic. We can change. We
Ray,
can come back.
Ray, you mentioned that the production studio is available for all webinars. Where did you find
David
this?
mentioned that.
Oh, David.
David said that.
There's a link I put in the Discord. I was watching a Zoom blog video or something, and somebody said it. So me and David were having a chat in the Discord, and I pointed it out, and I put a link to where the video is, so you can see it for yourself. And I've asked the person who wrote the blog post, but they haven't responded. I just asked for confirmation that. So you're saying that regular webinar licenses will have production studio. That's what they've written, and you can go check it out in the Discord. But yeah, that's what I read.
Okay, because the way I understand it and the way my setup is I have a Zoom session license, and Ray probably has the same thing. And if you whatever webinar licenses you have, then also have production studio, but because you have the session license. But I haven't found or haven't seen, but I will check it out. The information about just webinars, plain vanilla webinars having production studio.
If that's
I'm
the
gonna
case,
put the quote in the chat, and I'll put a link to the source where I got that.
Thanks.
yeah,
Jim.
I'll pull it up just so the people on YouTube can see that, because if that's the case, then you can potentially You would
So
potentially
so
not need your sessions license.
keep in mind the topic is what's new with Zoom events. And so I think Josh does a great job communicating with some of the new guys in the Zoom events office hours, which they have on Wednesday mornings for new guys. And I think he's talking in the context of Zoom events where they have always said you're going to be able to do that in your webinars for the person that owns the Zoom events license, but it's not there yet. And I think that's what they're trying to announce, but I think there's some context that should have been added to the text.
So
What it says, just for so people know, it says tons of exciting new features in the January release. Production Studio is now available in the web portal for standard Zoom webinars. But yes, this is absolutely in the context of Zoom events.
then they need to clean that up, because when you read it on its face value, it's saying that, and that's why I asked the person to confirm, and they haven't gotten back to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask them next Wednesday morning, Frank.
Are you going there? What, do they have a meeting or something?
Yeah, the Zoom events training and enablement team has a variety of things on their hub, and on Wednesday morning they have a place where you could basically, if you just come with your Zoom events questions, and Josh is there typically with a couple of sales guys and technical people, and lately I've been attending most Wednesday mornings as well. And occasionally I'll have a question, but sometimes I have answers that no one's quite thought of, and I jump in and try not to be rude.
Gotcha.
I don't
Chris
believe
shows up
you're
with
rude,
answers.
right?
You guys come up with questions. We'll find an answer for it. Pick one.
Are we done with that topic?
I don't know. Are we done with that topic?
Yes, thank you. I'm
Okay.
clear on that now. Thank you.
Well, actually, you're not clear because none of us are.
No,
This is the definition of being unclear as to whether this is a thing or not. But
Actually, I'm clear on it because it's in the context of Zoom events.
yeah,
they really should have written that differently.
I agree with you, Frank.
Do you feel like doing a little more show and tell, David? Because there's another feature I want to talk about, and you're set up better to screen share.
so I do, but I need to step away for 5 minutes. So let's do some other stuff, and then I'll be right back, and we'll do the show and tell. Absolutely. So if there's other stuff that we want to schmooze about, talk about, be challenged by, I'm going to ask Mike and Ray to hop in. I'm going to step away for just 5 minutes.
I'm sure we have something. Maybe Mike has a report of NAM. Anything going
Yes,
on?
back. Yeah, I just actually snuck away from NAM right now, virtually. I virtually stuck away from NAM. And so I'm about to go back here momentarily, actually. So this is quite interesting that David took this time. So NAM has been interesting. As I've mentioned to a few in this room already, the production level has decreased since last year. There has been, it's unfortunate. I don't know what the constraints are, but I plan on digging on that a little further. As far as the attendance is concerned, there is an average number that has been thrown about over the last couple of days of only 60,000 people coming to the event. For Frank and I, officially there is only prior to the doors opening, so our dealers and some musicians that also made the trek down to Anaheim was around 1,000 Canadians only coming down. So that is interesting, and for us, it's a little low, considering all of the amount of dealers that we have in our that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So that's quite interesting. The content has been much better today than yesterday, but again, half of it has been not necessarily the presenter's fault. It's been more the production end's fault, from what I've seen. And the portal that they are actually using, which is called SwapCard, if anybody is interested, that is the actual platform that they're using, not using Zoom Events platform or anything of the sorts. SwapCard is what they've been using for, actually they started this just prior to the lockdown. And there was functionality that was there. The functionality this year some of it has disappeared. One of them that was quite huge for us that has been there over the last 3 years there was a virtual meeting functionality that you could actually have with people that were attending virtually on the actual NAMM Show Plus platform. And unfortunately, that has been disabled this year. The reasoning that I was given from NAMM was, quote unquote, we are doing things a little different this year, and unquote would be the official answer. Was interesting. So it feels like to me, and of course our group here is very much into the hybrid versus, strictly on-prem type shows. This one feels like they are trying to pull back the hybrid and try to be more focused specifically on you must come. You must physically come. And the online platform right now is sort of we're using it for an app if we, so that it's convenient for you to schedule, so it's basically becoming a scheduling platform, not a virtual platform. So basically they're just using the scheduling purposes of, if you want to schedule meetings with people, great, but you can't virtually meet with them. You would have to use their video call functionality, which is the only function that is currently available from them. So it's been a bit of a challenge for us, but again, we've done our best to just accommodate how dealers have been dealing with us and wanted to meet with us. And we've just been, for the most part, pulling them out and just going into Zoom meeting calls one-on-one with them. Either if they're actually physically at the actual venue, they'll just go off into a different location and Zoom call with us, either via phone or if they have their laptop or such. And they'll actually go back to the hotel room and then actually use the hotel Wi-Fi and connect up with us, depending on what their schedule is like as well. So it's different. I feel they're trying to go back, and again, my opinion, I feel like they're going back to the we don't want hybrid days. We want to force everybody to be physically located in our beautiful, huge Anaheim Convention Center in Anaheim, California, where we have all the 3 floors of the whole building, and we want to make sure that it's full. Now, again, me being a drummer, I thought it was quite interesting that I heard today that, again, if you are a drummer or not a drummer, again, YouTube world, you might know this a little more. Zildjian, one of the largest cymbal makers in the world. Actually, this year is actually their 400th year anniversary. And NAMM was actually doing a big thing where they had an award ceremony for them this morning. And they don't actually have a booth at the show. So that is very, very telling on the need of having in-person trade show meetings to get products out there to their dealers. So it's very, very enlightening. Things are changing, and depending on who you talk to, it might be for good or it might not be. The seminars, depending on the presenter, have been really good, Ray. So in that regards, that's been okay. Some of the presenters definitely need to go to Ray's school of how to present to people. That is 100%. And I was watching one earlier today that I was like, Ray, you don't want to see this one. You just don't. You just don't. So that's my official NAM report before I head back there momentarily. So David, I see you back. So hello there, sir. Yeah,
Didn't you
NAM has
also
been good beside. Mhm.
did you
Go ahead,
did
Dave.
you mention didn't you said that vMix officially came out with their it's out of beta, right? Did you mention that already?
Yes, correct. Well, I mentioned in Discord, so I'm hoping everybody got my little update in Discord. But definitely, yes. So vMix 27 got released on Monday. There's again, I linked, I'm pretty sure I did before I had a chance of going into NAM. I linked in to make sure that if you did want, there was actually Heath, which is one of the people at vMix, did an awesome job of explaining all the Zoom technology that has been built into vMix. So I definitely suggest you taking a look at that video. It is quite detailed, and it allows you. It'll show all of the different integrations that you can do now in Zoom within vMix, and if there is any other functionality at this particular point. I haven't seen it, but again, everything's been in my quick test that I've been able to do this week. Ever since I got out of the beta one and went to the full, I haven't seen any problems, no crashes, no. Um, Again, I haven't done huge meetings, I haven't done huge events, but I've just done some testing of having 3 or 4 different bots that I've just ran into off of 3 or 4 different computers and brought in some content on it, and nothing out of the ordinary. There's been some grumblings on when you were doing the installation that certain things were not getting installed properly. I feel, and so does vMix, that it's a lot of user error. So you can take that with a bit of a grain of salt. But for the majority of people that have either been using vMix for a while or are new to vMix now because now they want to use it because it has Zoom in there, that is it's definitely good.
Nice. Hey, I have before we go back to show and tell, I have a question. So I had a thing I was doing, and so we were doing this in meetings. There was a panel of presenters. They didn't want the participants to see one another. And so there were two ways to, and so I explained to them there are two ways to do that. One is to just not enable video for them. And the second is to use focus mode. And I said the value of focus mode is that you can see them. Right? Yes. As co-hosts, you can see everyone. We opted to do both. And I'm not sure that we needed to. Because what we ended up seeing as co-hosts was a bunch of blank video screens. I shouldn't have done focus mode, should I have? Or does it, or
Well, one or the other, and I guess I'd say that I get this type of a question a lot on the Zoom community, and I tell them that they don't want people who are attendees to even know each other exists, and they don't want them to know how many people are there. And I go, well, what you need is a webinar.
right.
But yeah, focus mode will give the host and co-host the ability to see the audience. They will not be able to see each other. I believe they will still be able to see the participant window and see who's there and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you also turn off the video, then you won't have the benefit of seeing their video.
Right. Yeah, I felt like I was, yeah. Okay.
Shooting from the hip under pressure.
Well, no, it seemed, I mean, look, there was nothing wrong with what we did. It was just duplicative and silly because it to a certain extent, both of those tools did accomplish the same goal for the participants, at least. In any case.
It's if you're just referring to seeing each other at the video level.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because what Ray is saying is they may still be able to chat, they may be able to see the participant lists. So They will be aware of each other.
Yeah, no, that's not the issue. I think it was actually a fantastic use case for focus mode. There was no concern about people knowing who was there. It was just we wanted to focus on us. It was a perfect. I don't know why they also wanted the cameras off. Maybe they were concerned that they would get distracted by seeing all the faces. And you're right. I understand that that's webinar, but I don't have a webinar license, and I was the
Well,
one hosting.
and the other thing that often happens, David, when I'm controlling a webinar and I say, look, I as the host can set the view of the attendees and they'll only see the screen share and the people that I spotlight. And then the webinar panelists can see each other in the video and they get very uncomfortable that, oh, well, you know, now do I need to turn my video off? Well, you're not spotlight. You don't have to worry about that. And maybe your attendees thought, oh, you know, we're not really sure that focus mode works if you've never really done it before. And I've only done it a couple of times, really.
Well, does focus
like, is it really working?
But does focus mode is focus mode the same as webinar? That is to say, if let's say we're doing a screen share and I spotlight someone and the meeting's in focus mode, can my participants could switch back to gallery view and see all the other panelists, couldn't they?
They won't.
And can you not do that in webinar?
You can't do that in webinar if the host selects in the participant menu. There's a place down there that says attendee view. If the host selects speaker view, or during a screen share side-by-side speaker view, then no, the attendees don't get to change any of that in the view menu up at the top.
Okay. But I presume in meetings, even if you're in focus mode, I presume they do.
I haven't actually tested that level of detail, but you know, I'm making a note down here. I'm going to look at it.
Well, I could throw this meeting into focus mode real quick. Let's see. So I'm going to go to view, and then no, where is it? No, that's where immersive is. That's not what I want. I want to go to more, start focus mode. Okay, ready? We're going to more, start focus mode. All right, so now we're in focus mode. So you should only be able to see me,
The host,
Ray,
the co-host, and the screen
and
shares.
Robert, right.
And yourself.
Yes, and yourself, right. So, no, wait, I see Ray Harwood. Why do I see Ray Harwood?
He's got a special key they gave him.
That's interesting. I don't, that's really weird.
I see myself because I assume you get to see yourself, but.
Oh, sorry. I can see you because I'm a co-host. Sorry. That machine's a co-host. I apologize. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So now what we want to do is we want to spotlight someone. Ray, can I pick on you? Is that okay? So I'm going to, actually, Ray,